I first heard about this idea from Jim, probably over a beer in a pub, but possibly via an email. But actually, I thought it would be a good idea years ago, because I live in Beckton. My children spent many happy hours at the city farm when they were small, and I've often thought it would be quite a corny idea to do something like Animal Farm at City Farm. What Jim ended up producing was something very far from corny, but really good, as I'm sure you'll agree. So first there was Chaplain Met Gandhi, and that was a superb project, giving Royal Docks children a chance to work with professional actors and to develop a pack to enrich many parts of the school curriculum. That model clearly worked very well. So when Jim knocked an open door, we had a few useful tweaks about timing and when it should take place by our Royal Docks consultant, John Johnson. And I think you'll agree what we ended up with was another model project.
I'm Nicola. I was playing Daddy Love.
My name's Kevin and I was playing Rory. My name's Sam and I was playing Hero. How will I go down? I'm Jim, I'm the writer. I'm James and I was the director. I'm Andreas, I was playing Smoothie.
I'm Katie. I was playing Little Monster.
I'm Ian and I was the designer.
I'm Georgina, I was playing a hen and a dog. I'm Shania and I was playing red hen.
I'm Tara and I was playing Black Sheep.
I'm Michael and I was playing Goofy.
I'm Abubakar and I played the rat, the cockerel and duckling.
I'm Jaden and I played an animal.
I'm Gladman and I played Donkey King.
I think, well, I hope some of you know about Community Links. They're an East London charity, do fantastic work for new and disadvantaged and young people. And I was, a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I think I was their first and only, writer in residence, due to budgetary constraints. That's why they'd love to have continued it. So I was, had a lot in common in terms of what they're trying to do, the aims and objectives. And when I was a writer in residence on the farm, they didn't have the performance farm, but I still thought it was a fantastic space. I just couldn't think what to do there, possibly Midsummer Night's Dream, I don't know. But a few years later, so we're going to see earlier this year, Kevin Jenkins, who's a formidable, legendary figure in Newham, Kevin Jenkins, OBE, has raised about 50 million from Newham. He runs Community Links. He invited me down to the farm and said, do you know we've got a performance farm now? Oh, that's really interesting, that's really interesting. So we had a look at it, and really, quite honestly, it was only ever going to be one famous, fantastic piece of literature that we could go in there. So as soon as I saw it actually had a theatre space, in other words, that's what started me thinking, and then finally, realising. It's certainly, I think, you can't ignore certainly the most recent revolutions, the Arab Spring, Tunisia, Egypt, etc., Syria, etc. I'm not a Middle East expert, so that'll be that's a fascinating debate whether they worked. Obviously, it's very topical, it's very contemporary. And then also, I think we certainly had questions around the London riots. Now, a fascinating question about that is, if that had gone on and gone further and further to possibly some sort of small-scale revolution, that would have been. I hate to use the word fascinating because it would have involved anarchy and a breakdown society, but it would have been interesting if the young people could make a better job than the current lot.
So I thought Animal Farm was something which really chimed with the way I think about politics, really. The story really speaks to me. I think the story has a lot of warnings, when we get sort of people sort of standing up saying we need a revolution, when maybe popular comedians start saying, hey, what's a revolution? And, I do wonder what it will be like with Citizen Brand, running the country.
It sounded like a very challenging place, and I think it was. I think we all agree that it was challenging to put together. We had a short time period to put it all together, and the kids have done unbelievably to come with 1 week to go rehearsals and do what they did. I honestly think it's incredible as well. Some of these guys are going to be stars when they're old.
Go on.
I've always enjoyed acting, and when my teacher told me about the auditions for it, I was one of the first people in the class to jump up. And I found it it was really exciting because I've done several school plays, but I've never done an actual play with real actors, proper actors experience and stuff. So when I first arrived, I was like, I don't know how to.
I found it hard to learn because I had some names that are quite long, but I just every time I got in, I started memorizing my names. So it got easier and easier, and the directors they helped me remember my names.
Oh wow, you're amazing.
Thanks very much.
They committed off the scale of energy, brought it each time, and when they didn't quite get it right, they listened and they learned, and you saw them grow through the entire process of rehearsal and the show. But if anything, that's the memory, and I know it's a great story for the audience and the message and all of those things clearly involved, but what they took from it, and they were the authentic people in the community, it was based within where the farm is. It was just incredible because they gave so much, and I think got that back.
I think it gave us a better perspective over gangs and stuff that hang around, and the kind of sort of way that they act, not as polite and nice as other people. They're really lazy and lousy. Right?
So okay, yeah. What's your character's name?
Oh.
Yeah, really young.
Yeah, him and his people, they wanted communism, and then after the guy that died, old guy, he wanted capitalism, and then if you put revolution to it, you can talk about I think it's Russia when Stalin or something.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
You've got your hands in front row. How many of you would you like to acting in the future? Of those, how many didn't think about it before? Keep your hand up. If you didn't think about it before. All right, move.